Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, I say another one, but it has been quite a while. July 25th to be exact, I uploaded my last video on the channel. That was a Charles Leclerc career mode video around Belgium, the third episode of that series at the time, and it is back. It is making a return on the channel on F1 24. It seems like EA has watched my career mode because with the new option to pick a real life F1 or F2 driver, or even an icon if you wish, this series can make a return better than ever. As you can see in the background, I'm going through the settings of the career mode. We're going to start on 100% AI. That's what I last played at on F1 22, because in the meantime I have not played F1 competitively at all, or on a wheel for that matter. We'll be doing short qualifying sessions and a 35% race format. That should allow for enough racing, but yet keep the video short enough and not have it drag on forever, unlike this first episode, because it includes so much, including the contract negotiations, signing, etc. So there's a little bit more in this video, but generally I want to keep them around the 15 to 17 minute mark, and this video should be the only exception to that. I also would like to point out there are chapters available. If you want to skip straight to the qualifying or the race, you absolutely can. But if you haven't seen the cutscenes yet that happen right before career mode, I'd advise you to keep watching, because here we are selecting our driver, scrolling through all of them, but we already know which one we're gonna pick. Obviously, it's Charles Leclerc.
Your current team needs no introduction, of course. They're excited to be working with us. Everything's set up and ready to go. Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff, merchandising, likeness, blah, 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 but the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
Here we are then for the contract negotiations, and we get to pick a target rating. And I was playing around with the values and the effect it had on the bonus, because as you can see, 90 target has a 6% bonus, but 94 also has a 6%. 89 gives you a lower bonus, so we're going to stick to 90, which is the first value that gives you a 6% bonus, and we're going to sign the contract. How exciting. Here we are then in the menus, and straight away we're going to delve into the R&D and have a little look how Ferrari is doing.
Upgrades can be purchased by you and your teammate, so remember to play nice. Each upgrade will be labelled with the driver that purchased it. Any upgrade that's been completed will be applied to both cars at the team. But no matter who did it, remember that if the car's slow, well, it's down to the drivers, and if it's quick, it's all thanks to me.
Okay, Mark, very funny. Disregard that. We're going to look at some upgrades. Carlos Sainz is targeting a gearbox reliability upgrade, and we're going to look at some of the others. In the chassis department, we're second. In the aero department, we are fourth, which is by far the lowest department of them all. So that's the upgrade I'm going to focus on first. The front wing adjuster bracket, which should come before the Australian Grand Prix, which is the third round of the season. If you hadn't noticed, during the setup we picked a full season for the first season. I thought it'd be great to do a full season for the very first season, but after that we're going to get custom seasons involved for sure. And since I am on PC, we can also get mods involved, which is great because you can reshuffle the calendar. Anyways, we are looking around in our motorhome right now, scrolling through the different tabs on the computer. And we've ended up at the experts tab where we're going to select the manufacturer's expert, and we're going to change the goal that we set earlier off screen to participate in 3 sessions during the weekend, which is easily done. The first practice is mandatory, and then qualifying in the race, so we can even skip practice 2 and 3. Speaking of those, we're going to get right into practice.
The long wait is over. This is it, a brand new season. And before the show gets well and truly underway, we've got the all-important matter of a free practice session. It's great to be back. So much unknown before we get underway. So what will be going through the drivers' minds as they get ready for the new season?
The faster you can work around the circuit conditions and get the car tailored to your liking, the better. And then you can just focus on the job in hand in terms of lap times. But first of all, you've got to get the car feeling right.
Okay, me again, mate. We've made some changes to the way that ERS works this year, so you're going to have multiple modes to choose from in the race now. Have a play around with them in your MFD during the practice sessions and think about how you might use them on race day. I'll check back with you soon to chat more about it.
Okay, Mark, thanks for letting me know. Indeed, there is a new ERS system this year on this game. It's nothing special, we've had it on the older games, so it's not something new for me to learn. Anyways, we're going to get right into practice driving the Ferrari as Charles Leclerc. Something, as you can see straight away, I'm driving with no traction. On previous games, F1 22, F1 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, I all did medium or even full traction on the earlier games. This is the first time I have committed to no traction, and it shows straight out of the pits, some wheel spin, and it's going to be a theme throughout this entire race, maybe even throughout the season, that I'll be spinning up the rears quite a lot, which will probably have an effect on my tire wear and some practice programs throughout the season as well. It is going to be a steep learning curve. I haven't played the F1 games competitively for a year and a half now, so it's going to be an ongoing process, but thankfully we get the first practice program done completely, purple, full points, which is great to see, and also great for the R&D points that we'll be bringing in. This year with the revamped R&D system, it's going to be very important to score all those R&D points, that you can only spend the ones that you score, and your teammate can only spend the ones that he or she scores. So with that in mind, we're going to do the second practice program straight away, which is the race strategy. And going into the next corner, we're going to lose the rear end. And that is primarily down to the fact that I am learning no traction. We're going to rejoin onto the track. There's a Haas on our left-hand side that I completely did not see. But as you can see in the replay here, we're going through these couple of corners and we're just going to lose the rear end on the traction. I was trying to keep full throttle on the hards, but as you can see, evidently it is not working. So we're going to have to go back to the pits and retry the practice program, because as you can see, the lap times weren't sufficient enough for a purple score. This time we're going to try it on mediums. Maybe I'll have some better luck. And as you can see, by the end of the final lap, I am still in the green. And it seems like we're going to be able to complete this practice program with flying colors. As we come across the line, we're going to score the full 50 points, which means another good haul of R&D points. And as you can see, compared to the hards, we've done a better job than the last time, which gives me some more confidence going into the race. As we now try the final practice program in FP2, we fast forwarded to FP2, which is the qualifying practice program. In previous F1 games, this practice program was pretty disproportionate in terms of difficulty compared to the other practice programs. So let's see how we perform this time going into turn 1. An area of the track I'm struggling with quite a lot with the different traction zones, but we managed to get through it pretty decently on this run. And as you can see, blocking the view in the top half of the screen is the practice indication, seeing how good we stack up compared to what they expect of us as we go through turn 4, that is, I believe, where I have another snap of the steering wheel. But so far so good. We are actually already in the purple on 100 AI, which seems pretty good, and it seems that at least it's more proportionate to the other practice programs and the difficulty that we're running. And by the end of the lap, we're actually 1.4 seconds up on our time, which means that as per the prediction, we're going to be in first place in qualifying, which is a promising prediction. Maybe not ultra realistic, but as you can see, we did perform pretty well, even with the struggles I have in the traction zones in the first sector, as you can see by the red parts on the mini-map there. And that also marks the end of the free practice sessions that we've been doing in the practice programs altogether, as we've completed all of them, and we get 300 resource points for a total of 671, as we have a little look at the breakdown of those resource points. I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised by the changes they've made to the career mode in F1 24, which is at least a very good start. There's a lot more that needs to change in my opinion, but we'll leave that for another time, as we're actually getting ready for qualifying here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. We gained some experience with the practice sessions, but no other ratings go up, so let's head straight into qualifying.
Well, as the sun goes down, the speeds go up. It's almost time to get underway for this shootout for the fastest time and the best possible grid position for tomorrow's race. Let's get on with it. It's qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Everyone ready? Okay, let's go.
Alright, here we are then for qualifying at the Bahrain Grand Prix, first round of the season, and we're looking to get a pole position straight out of the bag. It's only a short qualifying session, so one session of 18 minutes long, and we get to use all the tires that are available to us. As we head out straight at the start of the session, only 1 minute has passed, but already a lot of cars on the track, as you can see in the bottom left on the minimap, as we're actually the 10th car to go out on track and start our first lap of the session. As we hurdle down to turn 1 for the first time here around the Bahrain International Circuit, diving into a section where I'm struggling quite a lot initially, on the traction especially. Coming out of these corners, you have to really feather the throttle, clattering the curb on the inside of turn 3 there as we open the DRS, heading straight into turn 4, as I realize that our tires are actually not up to optimal temperature just yet. As we go through turn 4 on the traction, we keep it steady, we keep it straight, and we head into the next couple of corners. And by the end of the lap, I see no purple sectors, but as we cross the line, we set provisional pole position with a 28.803. And as we get back to the garage, you can see purple sector 2 and 3, but in sector 1, Lando Norris has the upper hand on us and is only 6.5 hundredths of a second behind us. As I change the tire pressure to see if I can actually get a more optimal temperature in the tires going into our second run here of the day. As we hurdle down to turn 1 once again with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and we're already gaining. As the back end kind of steps out going into turn 1, but it does help with the rotation, and we're almost 2 tenths up already coming out of turn 3. And as we go on even further into the lap, we're 4 tenths up on our time as we have the DRS open going into turn 11. Another difficult traction zone I found, and keeping it at 5th gear works for me so far. As we gain another heap of time, and by the end of the lap we've converted that into 6.5 tenths of an improvement, setting a 128.135 with 4 minutes left on the clock. And as we get back to the garage, I look at the timing sheets and Lando Norris is still 7 tenths behind us, and I decide not to do a second lap.
Qualifying wraps up now. We have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Right then, we qualify on pole for our very first race of the season, but as you can see, none of the AI have managed to improve on their lap in their second or third run. I fast forwarded the last 4 minutes of the session, and the gaps to the cars behind are exactly the same. As you can see, Lando Norris set a 128.8 for his first lap, but a 129.2 twice in a row for his second and third lap respectively. And now I started to doubt myself whether 100 AI was going to be the correct level. I chose it because it's what I ended on F1 22, which is obviously a game that is 2 years old now. But ultimately I decided to stick with 100 AI for now to see what would happen. But right now we're getting ready to start the race here in Bahrain.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. Formula 1 returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it could be a strategic race this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Russell, Stroll, Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Joe, Albon, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula 1 driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Now it's a new season, plenty of new opportunities, but I think I'm going to start with a question we may have asked last year as well. Can anyone stop Max Verstappen?
That's what they're hoping for. And that's what we're hoping for as well in some ways, because we don't want to see just one driver or one team running away with it this season like we had last year or even the years gone by in this sport. Can we get to see a two-way or even a 3- or 4-way fight throughout this race today? Fingers crossed we'll get that.
Okay, mate, so we got pole. That's in the bag. Now let's go and get the double with the race win. Come on.
Thank you, Mark, for those encouraging words. And here we are on the grid for the first race of the season, starting from pole position. And this is the strategy that we're looking at, a soft to hard strategy. To be honest, with these 35% races, I don't really have anything to base the strategy off, so I'm just kind of guessing here. And the soft to hard strategy looked viable enough to do it. And as we now prepare to start the race, we encounter the first bug I've seen in career mode so far, because I readied up to go to the race and I'm stuck here on the grid. And I have no idea what to do or what buttons to press. I was spamming all the buttons on my steering wheel. Brake pedal, as you can see there, makes me look backwards. I yanked the steering wheel to the right. I look to the right. I yank to the left. I look to the left. I had no idea what to do. After numerous restarts of the game, I eventually figured it out, I guess. I spammed the clutch button and that managed to trigger the game and started the formation lap, as we get that underway right now. But straight out of the bat, a very weird glitch in career mode. Nothing major though, nothing game breaking, but a glitch nonetheless. But as we come to the end of the formation lap, we're getting ready to line up onto the grid as Max Verstappen ghosts right through us. This is something I haven't done for over a year and a half now, so kind of looking around how to do this again. But as you can see, we actually overshoot it, but the meter still said 0.1 meters, which was kind of weird. But anyways, we get ready for 5 red lights here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. First round of the season, 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it's an absolute howler of a start, spinning up the rear tires with the no traction. Max Verstappen passes us on the left. Norris and Hamilton with better starts on the right. Now also Fernando Alonso and Sainz go up the inside. We tried to stick with our teammate, hanging it round the outside of turn 1, going to the inside of turn 2, turns back to the outside for turn 3. And do we get the position? No, we're side by side. Carlos just edging ahead, going into turn 4 as we try to hang around the outside under braking once again, going into turn 4. Do we manage to stick it this time around? We didn't do it in turn 1. Can we do it this time going into turn 6? Round the outside? No, we go too wide and Carlos Sainz gets the position as we've gone from 1st on the grid to 6th on the track as we enter the 2nd sector. Can we win any of those opening positions back here on the first lap? As we skip to the end of that very first lap, it doesn't look like we're going to be gaining any positions anytime soon. Instead, Sergio Perez is right behind us on track heading into turn 1. He doesn't go for the dive just yet, but we are under pressure as we have another snap of the steering wheel under traction, a second one coming out of turn 2. And now Sergio Perez is right on our tail once again. He's heading for the inside going into turn 4. One of our weaker sections of the track. He dives it up the inside, but we do manage to stick it around the outside and keep the position on the traction. Although Sergio Perez comes back at us, we have to give him the space heading into turn 6, but we do manage to stick it around the outside and keep the position for now. But as we skip to the end of that same lap, Lewis Hamilton with the fastest lap. We do improve on our personal best as well, but Sergio Perez is coming at us again going into turn 1. He sends one up the inside once again, just like the previous lap. And as you can see, we go side by side once again through turns 1 and 2 and 3 as well. Heading onto the DRS straight, Sergio Perez opens the DRS and is looking for a move up the inside once again going into turn 4. Can we hang it round the outside again just like we did on the previous lap? Yes, we can, but Sergio Perez is further alongside compared to last time. But once again, heading into turns 5 and 6, we stay ahead for now. And as we fast forward to the end of lap 5, we've managed to keep Sergio Perez behind for now, but the Mexican once again goes for the inside of turn 1. Oscar Piastri following close behind as we try to go around the outside again, defending into turn 1, turning to the inside again of turn 2, outside of turn 3. We struggle on the traction again, something that's happening to us a lot, and Sergio Perez is on the inside heading into turn 4, but this time around it looks like instead of Perez overtaking us, it's going to be Oscar Piastri hanging it around the outside, overtaking Sergio Perez instead. The young Australian with a brilliant move. And as we forward to the end of that same lap, we had a look at our tire wear and it's actually pretty poor. So I've decided to make a pit stop at the end of this lap, going for mediums, which means I'm probably going to have to try the 2-stop. I wasn't confident that hards would take us to the end of this race, and I figured that my tire wear is pretty bad due to the fact that I'm still new to no traction and that I'm just spinning up the rear tires a lot. So here we are then boxing for medium tires. As you can see, pit crew putting them on in about 2.3 seconds. And we get to continue on our way. Hopefully at this rate we can get a pretty good undercut on the cars that are scheduled to make a pit stop in the next couple of laps. And right now my main focus was just to go as fast as possible, hot lap, until those cars have pitted. And as you can see, by the end of lap 8, there's a couple of cars in the pits. Oscar Piastri already pitted a lap earlier onto hard, and we're now 2.6 seconds ahead of him. But let's see, on the pit exit, we go up into P12, but we're already 9.4, now 6.5 seconds behind our teammate Carlos Sainz, who was just into the pits. But by the end of lap 12, we've actually caught up to this train of hard runners who were stuck behind the Haas that started on hards. As you can see, Nico Hulkenberg pulling into the pits only now for his one and only pit stop. And we actually go on the attack on Fernando Alonso down the inside of turn 1. The Spaniard went defensive, but we went to the inside nonetheless. And as you can see, up the inside of turn 1, we tried to stick it round the outside of turn 2. Can we make the move? It looks like we do. We open DRS, but the Spaniard also has DRS from Hamilton in front of him. Down to turn 4, can we hang it up the inside? Yes, we can. Can we force the Spaniard out wide? We still struggle on the traction. We have a little snap of the steering, and Fernando Alonso pulls it round the outside of turn 6. There he goes. But I had a little bit of better momentum. So heading into turn 8, we go up the inside of the Spaniard, and we make the move stick. We force the Spaniard out wide, and we're up into P5. But unfortunately, due to the squabbling, we've lost the DRS of Lewis Hamilton in front. The gap is now 1.7 seconds, and that might hurt us in the long run. It might hurt us right now because Fernando Alonso might come back at us with DRS, but by the end of the straight, it doesn't look like he's able to. And as we head onto the end of lap 14, our tires are already wearing down once again. So I'm afraid that we're going to have to come into the box for our second stop onto another set of medium tires, and that was actually a pretty uneventful stint apart from that one little battle with Fernando Alonso. We're just struggling on the tire wear since I've gone to no traction, and that's just hurting our race pretty significantly to the point where my tire wear is so severe that we're forced into a 2-stop here in this Grand Prix. And as you can see, this second pit stop has forced us down to 18th of the 19 drivers that are still in this race. Sergio Perez retired earlier due to engine failure. And by the end of lap 15, we're behind Logan Sargent, who is in P17. We are way faster than the American. As he actually goes defensive into the last couple of corners, we take a wider line, and in front of us, Valtteri Bottas has also managed to mess up the final corner. So we go around the outside of Logan Sargent, and now we open the DRS to now chase down Valtteri Bottas for P16. We overtook Logan Sargent just one corner ago, and we go from 18th to 16th in pretty much one straight. I'd say that's a good deal. As we have a look at the replay of Valtteri Bottas heading into the final corners, he just locks up and he just goes straight ahead, and he tries to correct the steering, and he's just slow out of the final corner, which made it pretty easy for us to overtake him. And now we go on to lap 16 where we're right behind Kevin Magnussen, and we make some contact trying to overtake the Danish driver there. I don't really know what happened. I kind of felt like he came across when it wasn't really necessary to defend, or quite late. As we look at a replay from our front wing, yeah, I kind of feel like Magnussen came across there when it wasn't really necessary. It was quite clear that we were going to overtake him. But anyways, we fast forward to lap 17. We're now right behind Guan Yu Zhou and Alexander Albon in the Sauber and Williams respectively. We're going to try to get past these drivers as quick as possible. Maybe we can salvage any points as we go down the inside of turn 10. A clean move, no contact, kind of like Fernando Alonso did to Lewis Hamilton in, was it the 2023 Grand Prix in the Aston Martin? I think it was. Anyways, we fast forward to the end of that same lap as we tried to go around the outside of Alexander Albon, just like we did to his teammate Logan Sargent a couple of laps ago. Speaking of Logan Sargent, he's out of the race on lap 17 with an engine failure as well, as we go side by side with Alexander Albon for what is P13. And as we look ahead, the gap to Tsunoda and P12 is 8 seconds, and with 3 laps remaining, that is just too big of a gap to make up. So as we go to the final lap, it's going to be Max Verstappen who wins the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Lando Norris in P2. Carlos Sainz, our teammate, gets P3, and we're here messing about in P13, which is not optimal whatsoever. A tough race with the tire wear, but I also felt like the AI was quite imbalanced compared to qualifying and practice. I mean, we managed to stick it on pole with great ease, and then in the race we're struggling here for P13. I don't know if it's solely due to the tire wear, but not ideal.
Not ideal. But anyway.
The checkered flag is out. We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again, because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
Well, all that off-season work clearly paying off here today, Crofty. A brilliant way to start the season with a solid victory. It's a real good confidence boost as well, and you feel like that's going to really propel them forward through to the next race coming up.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well then, P13 in our first race as Charles Leclerc. Just like Leclerc said, not ideal. Only car to make a two-stop in the race. We did get the fastest lap though at the end, 30.5. No points for that though, as we're outside of the top 10. And yeah, the AI felt very imbalanced between qualifying and the race, something I'm definitely going to be looking at for the next round in Saudi Arabia. I'm probably going to do a couple of test races before to see what AI level to run exactly to make it entertaining. Anyhow, looking at the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull take the lead with the win from Max Verstappen. McLaren take P2 with Oscar and Norris scoring decent points. Mercedes in third, and we're in fourth as Carlos Sainz is the only point scorer. Hopefully we'll be performing better next time out in Saudi Arabia. For now, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know it's been one hell of a long time. I'm not going to attempt to make daily uploads like I was trying to do in the early stages of F1 22. But I'm going to try maybe 1 or 2 uploads a week. I'm going to get back into league racing as well. I'm going to make an introduction video to that pretty soon. Hopefully y'all stick around. I'll see you around, and on to the next one. Bye bye.